Evelyn, Grandma's Garden, and we're back again in January. It's freezing cold outside, buku snow, but I didn't want snow behind me. So we've got Kathy's garden behind us. You remember Kathy, she's my friend that helps me do the show from time to time. So I'm sitting in a lovely garden, thinking it's nice and warm. This is also the time of the year where I dream about what I want to plant in my garden. What I have room for, what did I use sufficiently last year? Did I have enough of it? Do I need to plant more? Or did I have too much and I need to plant less? This is time to think about it. Actually, it's warming and it makes me feel better. We did vegetables in the last show, and I was going to share a recipe for campanata. If you'll be interested, I will tell you campanata dip right now with the eggplant. We didn't talk about eggplant. Eggplant needs support. You're going to have to give that eggplant a cage to grow up in, and the eggplants will then be inside the cage hanging down. There's so many uses for eggplant. Love, love, love eggplant. It almost, to my palate, has almost a chocolatey, I'd say dark flavor. Some vegetables are light and bright. To me, eggplant is this chocolatey flavor. If you're going to do eggplant or campanata dip, you're going to clean. You're going to poke holes with a fork all over that eggplant, every place you can make holes because you don't want it exploding in your oven. You're going to bake it until it's soft, about 400 degrees, for about 45 to 50 minutes. See, the good thing is you can play this program over and over again and get the whole recipe. In the food processor, you're going to have half a cup of green olives, 4 red peppers, 3 cloves of garlics, and whiz them. You don't want a puree. You want them chunky. It's going to be a dip. You want to saute an onion, some red pepper flakes added, and then when that's to the side. Eggplant comes out of the oven. You peel the skin off of it, throw that away, and then just cut it up in chunks. Put it in a bowl. And now you're going to add all of the other things to that bowl. Salt and pepper, a couple tablespoons of dried capers, drained capers, pardon me, a splash of red wine vinegar, a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of tomato paste, toast some pine nuts, and chop some parsley, pardon me, add it all together. You have a fantastic dip. Try it. You might like it. You might even have to decide you have to grow some eggplant so you can keep up with your desire for campanata. I'm going to do a little bit of, we did carrots on the last show, cucumbers. Let's do our page on cucumbers. There we go. What is more delightful than cucumbers in the summer? You're going to have room for them. You're going to have a cage of some sort to support them. Although when I lived in my other place, I had a deck and I put my cucumber in a pot at each end of the deck, one at each end of the deck, and then as the vines grew, I wound the vines around the slats on my deck, and I could go around the ground side then, and just hanging freely are my cucumbers, so easy to pick, never laying on the ground, never had any bugs, bites, never had any worms. If you can do it, plant them in a container. I think you might be happier with them. But if that's not something you want to do, we've been growing cucumbers for, I can't tell you how many hundreds of years, planting them in the ground, giving them some kind of cage of support. Those rose cages, those do pretty good. There are also those wonderful square box cages for tomatoes. A little expensive, but they would work very well too. Going on now a little bit into greens. I'm not covering everything. I can't cover everything. Just trying to give you a beginning to think about your garden. Arugula, the first one. Slightly peppery taste, yummy good. That you will sow in the spring. It will take frost. So you kind of have to know what your plant's going to be ready for, because some of these things you want to get into the ground in April. The lettuce blends. I have had marvelously good luck with lettuce seeds. I think I got my lettuce seeds at Kmart's, come to think of it. But lettuce seeds in containers outside the front door, and I would go out with my scissors whenever I wanted salad and just start cutting off lettuce, whatever I needed for how big a salad I wanted. And then if I got too aggressive, I'd have to wait for them to grow up again. But you'll get several crops out of those lettuce seeds. It's really quite a neat way. There's red lettuce that you can put in there. You can have mixed lettuce in your container. That, again, is something that you're going to put out early. That, again, is an early plant. Something to try, my mom used to make, for leaf lettuce, a vinaigrette, shall we say, with vinegar, white vinegar, sugar, and some half and half. I can't tell you the proportions because Mom did one of these, you know, and some of this and some of that, and that's how I do it. Give it a try till it comes out to where it suits your palate. But it is a nice, tart but sweet, sour dressing, and you still have the stuff in your house. If you don't have half and half, use milk. You'll get close to it. Another idea for you is peas. I love what I call sweet peas, not the flour. I'm talking about the peas that you eat. The sugar peas, if I want to call it that, versus the sweet peas which are the flour. And look at all the various and sundry sweet peas. Yum, yum. I have them outside the front of my house. And what I do is I walk outside, and as I'm talking to my neighbors, I'm picking sweet peas and munching on sweet peas. As I said before, I walk around my garden and I'm nibbling quite a bit of the time as I'm walking around my garden. I want to show you, if the camera will come back, I want to show you how I do my sweet peas. Okay, I do them in a container. And I plant them. Can you see this? I mean, does it show up? Okay, if I get it this way, you can see. That's supposed to be the bottom of the tomato cage. I've wired it together. And what I do is I put this in my container and I bury the rim in the dirt. A good couple inches, because I want it to be sturdy. And then I'll plant my seeds, then I'll plant my seeds around the places that it's going to give it strength to come up. Tie some thread. I use yarn because I always have yarn in the house. And I'll make more places for the vines to grow up. And then you've got support for your sweet peas throughout the year. And once they're done, you take the tomato cage out and you put in some flowers, and it's done double duty for you. You've had the enjoyment of the peas, and now you can enjoy something else in that pot. Add some fertilizer. Again, I want to talk about my eggshells. I think very highly of eggshells in the garden. Anybody that has grubs, that's not what I want to call them, slugs, that's the critters I want. I save my eggshells all year long. When I put fertilizer in my garden in the spring, I also sow eggshells. Slugs will not crawl over eggshells. It's too sharp. It cuts their bodies. I take my egg, after I've, gotten the egg out of it, I actually, with my finger, rinse out the inside of the shell to get that membrane out of it, and then put them to dry, and then add them to my bag. So come spring, I never have enough eggshells. Mustard greens. I don't know if you've ever planted mustard greens. I only had them a few years ago. They bite back. I mean, they're really peppery, spicy, but today everybody's doing spicy food, so I thought I would suggest to you that you maybe plant 1 or 2, and then clean the leaves and wash them and chop them up and add them to whatever it is you're doing, and see how well you like mustard greens. It's just something different. There is also, let me see, I don't know if you're going to want to do all of the things that are there. I like the purple mustard seed. I think I would try that. I've never tried to plant mushrooms. It's too easy to buy them at the store. But mustard greens, I would say, give it a try. See what you get. I will be seeing you again soon. We have one more show I think we're going to do. And then we'll come back and see you in Grandma's Garden again. Bye.